Hello, and welcome to Vox Herald, your go-to podcast for the stories shaping Canada today. I'm your host, San Juan, and I'm thrilled to be with you as we dive into a story that's buzzing in British Columbia and beyond. Today, we're talking about the BC Green Party's 2025 leadership race, a pivotal moment for the party and for Canadians who care about affordability, climate action, and social justice. With only two candidates, Jonathan Kerr and Emily Lowan, vying to replace Sonia Furstenau, this race could set the tone for the Greens' role in BC's political future. Stay tuned as we break down who these candidates are, what they stand for, and what their leadership could mean for British Columbians and Canadians at large. Let's get started. Let's set the stage. The BC Green Party has been a small but mighty force in British Columbia's legislature, often punching above its weight on issues like climate change, housing, and social equity. After the 2024 provincial election, former leader Sonia Furstenau lost her Victoria Beacon Hill riding and announced she'd step down, leaving the party at a crossroads. Jeremy Valeriote, the MLA for West Vancouver-Sea, is currently interim leader, but the real question is, who's next? The application deadline for the leadership race closed on June 14, 2025, and we now know the two contenders, Dr. Jonathan Kerr and Emily Lowan. Let's meet them and unpack what this race means for BC. First up, Jonathan Kerr. He's a family doctor and a twice-elected councillor in Comox, a town on Vancouver Island. Kerr's also served as vice chair of the Comox Valley Regional District, giving him a deep understanding of local governance. His campaign is laser-focused on affordability and sustainability issues that resonate across BC, especially in places like Comox, where housing costs have skyrocketed. Kerr's biography highlights his ability to connect with people, recruit progressive candidates, and win elections. He's worked on both provincial and federal Green campaigns, and as a physician, he's been a champion for bringing more healthcare professionals to underserved communities. His pitch? Practical, community-driven solutions to make BC more affordable, healthier, and sustainable. Then we have Emily Lowan, a 24-year-old climate justice advocate from Victoria. Lowan's a renter and organizer, and a fierce voice for Indigenous solidarity and younger generations. Her campaign slogan, "Fight the Oligarchs, Fund Our Future," signals a bold, activist-driven approach. She's worked with Climate Action Network Canada to combat fossil fuel expansion and led a successful fossil fuel divestment campaign at the University of Victoria. Lowan's also collaborated with Indigenous groups to stop projects that ignore their rights, emphasizing decolonization as a cornerstone of her platform. Her focus is on tackling corporate greed, lowering living costs, and investing in affordable housing, free transit, and green jobs. So, what's at stake here? The BC Greens hold two seats in the legislature, Jeremy Valeriote and Rob Botterill, but neither is running for leadership, meaning the winner will lead without a seat until a by-election or the next provincial election in 2028. That's a challenge, but it also opens the door for a fresh voice to redefine the party's direction. The leadership election runs from September 13th to 23rd, with results announced on September 24th. The first official event, a Meet and Green, is happening July 11th at UBC's Vancouver campus, so British Columbians will soon get a closer look at these candidates. Let's talk about why this matters to Canadians. The BC Greens have historically influenced policy far beyond their size, pushing for climate action and affordability measures that ripple across the province and inspire federal policies. For example, BC's Clean BC Plan, which aims to cut emissions by 40% by 2030, owes much to green advocacy. But with housing costs in BC among the highest in Canada, Vancouver's average home price hit $1.2 million in 2024, According to the Canadian Real Estate Association and the climate crisis intensifying, the next leader will need to bridge practical governance with bold vision. Now, let's dig deeper into what this leadership race means for BC and Canada. Jonathan Kerr and Emily Lowan represent two distinct paths for the BC Greens, and their platforms reflect broader tensions in Canadian politics. Pragmatism versus activism, experience versus fresh perspective. Let's break it down with some data and context. First, Kerr's focus on affordability and sustainability. Housing is a top concern in BC, where Statistics Canada reports that 25% of households spend more than 30% of their income on shelter, well above the affordability threshold. In Comox, where Kerr serves, the average single-family home price rose 15% from 2020 to 2024, outpacing wage growth. Kerr's experience as a councillor gives him insight into local solutions, like zoning, reforms, or incentives for affordable housing. His healthcare background also ties into a critical issue. BC faces a shortage of 6,000 family doctors, according to the BC College of Family Physicians. Kerr's work to recruit practitioners could inform policies to improve access, especially in rural and Indigenous communities where healthcare gaps are stark. Lowan, on the other hand, brings a youth-driven, activist lens. At 24, she represents a generation facing a 7.7% unemployment rate among young Canadians, higher than the national average of 5.5%, per Statistics Canada's 2024 data. Her focus on climate justice aligns with BC's reality. The province faced record-breaking wildfires in 2023, costing $1 billion in damages. And the BC government's own reports warn of worsening climate impacts. Lowan's work with Indigenous groups is crucial here. Indigenous communities, like the Silcotin Nation, have led opposition to projects like the Trans Mountain Pipeline, citing environmental and rights violations. Her push for decolonization and stopping fossil fuel expansion could resonate with urban voters and Indigenous communities, but may face resistance from resource-dependent regions like the interior or Northeast, where 15% of BC's GDP comes from. Natural gas and mining, according to the BC Ministry of Energy. Let's compare their visions. Kerr's pragmatic approach could appeal to voters in suburban and rural ridings, where the Greens need to grow to compete with the NDP and Conservatives. His track record of winning elections suggests he knows how to build coalitions. But will his focus on incremental change satisfy a party base craving bold action? Lowan's activist platform, meanwhile, could energize younger voters in urban centers like Victoria and Vancouver, where 60% of BC's population lives. Her emphasis on taxing the ultra-rich and funding green jobs taps into public frustration polls. From Angus Reid in 2024, shows 68% of British Columbians support wealth taxes. Yet her relative inexperience in elected office might raise questions about her ability to navigate Victoria's complex political landscape. From a national perspective, the BC Greens leadership race matters because BC often sets the tone for environmental policy in Canada. The Greens' advocacy has pushed the federal Liberals to adopt measures like the 2021 carbon pricing framework. Whoever leads the BC Greens could influence national debates on affordability and climate, especially as Canada faces U.S. trade pressures under a potential second Trump administration, which could impact BC's energy exports. To bring in a community perspective, imagine a young renter in Vancouver, like Emily Lowan herself, struggling to afford a $2,000 a month one-bedroom apartment. They might see Lowan's call for vacancy control and wealth taxes as a lifeline. Meanwhile, a small business owner in the Comox Valley might lean toward Kerr's practical solutions, like streamlining healthcare or housing approvals to ease local pressures. Both candidates speak to real needs, but their approaches reflect Different priorities in a diverse province. That's today's deep dive into the BC Green Party's leadership race. Whether it's Jonathan Kerr's pragmatic push for affordability and sustainability, or Emily Lowan's bold vision for climate justice and equity, this race is about more than just a party. It's about shaping BC's response to housing, climate, and social challenges that affect us all. As Canadians, we know the power of diverse voices coming together, and this leadership contest is a chance to see that in action. What do you think about Kerr and Lowan's platforms? Share your thoughts with us on X at Vox Herald. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and let's keep building a brighter future for Canada. Thanks for listening to Vox Herald.